The present should be guided more by the future than the past. Unfortunately, it's not that way most of the time. I'm worried about obsolescence more than break, because chances are anything that you put in place is going to become obsolete before it stops working in today's world. You see, if the entire organization were 12 people, it'd be easy to change, wouldn't it? We go sit in a room on a Friday afternoon and we all, shut the door, we bring in food and drinks, and we don't come out till we get it. You add this many people, it becomes a little more complex. You add the number of people, you expand that into the number of colleagues and staff that you have here within the system, and it becomes even exponentially more difficult. So you have to start thinking about that change early and preparing for it all the time. Because in fact, we are leading in a world that is always changing. So this afternoon, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to spend a little time on the what piece of change. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because, quite frankly, you covered that this morning, and the speaker this morning when he talked about John Cotter's change model. I'm going to give you sort of my ideas on the model, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll spend most of our time on the how side of change. I'm going to give you 5 leadership competencies for leading change in a world that's always changing. That's always changing. Somebody wrote in your survey, I think you hit the nail right on the head, is that as soon as we get about halfway done with one change, we're starting a new one. That's life. And so here are the 5 competencies. 1, change. When I got the messages from your surveys, by the way, thank you. Over 200 of you completed that little survey I asked you to do, so thank you very much for doing that. We got some messages on the how side of change. And one of the messages was, overall, you're very good at change, especially if there's no resistance. If there's no resistance, there is no change. If change could happen easily or overnight, think of your life. How many of us would wake up tomorrow and have something decidedly different about ourselves?
Well, we're going to try something else now. It must not have worked.
Well.
She's pretty good.
Good job.
Okay, wait a minute. Time out. All right, somebody help Bo here. Well, it's like an improv.
Please.
Somebody, what would you say if you were Bo right now? Your input is valuable. What else would you say? Okay. Now, where was the pull? Where did you see the pull? See, the difference between you from a culture standpoint and any other organization that's out there, any of your competitors, whether they're down the street, across the street, out of the county, in the next state, wherever that might be, the difference is not your equipment. The difference is not that you're on Epic and they're not. The difference is not your process. The difference is not your focus on quality, because they all have about the same focus that you do. Anybody that you're competing with for the hearts and minds and souls of patients does about the same things that you do.
Thank you. We felt that the word change has gotten kind of a negative connotation, so we'd like to use a different word.
Great.
Transition or adaptation, something that captures the past, honors the past.
It honors that past.
It honors the past.
That's a great way.
Moves forward.
And so if you never talked about change again, would that be okay? Sure, as long as you continue to change. You see, I go back to what my wife said. You don't have to change, you do have to adapt. Okay, I get that. Just don't tell me I have to change. I can understand that. Because you're right, nobody wants to change. But you tell me I need to adapt. I do that all the time. You do too. I honor the past and then realize that, you got to go forward. See, there's a reason that in your car, the front windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, which means that we have to connect. This is a people business. Doesn't matter what we do in the way of technology or equipment or anything else, this is and always is a people business. It's a people business. And people support and take action for change based on their reasons, what the connection is with them, not with us. So you're going to go back and you're going to communicate change. Here are 4 things that everybody wants to know in communicating change. First, what it is and why it's important to them. We lead and connect by serving. And we know that you do that every day with your patients. My question is, do we do that every day with each other? With each other. Everybody here is in this together. You know, it's an interesting thing. You come and you hear that, we're doing things, we're doing these changes, and it's easy for you to think, well, obviously we must be doing some things wrong because we keep doing all these changes. That's an indication that you're doing things right. I get asked to work with a lot of organizations, both from a presentation standpoint like this and then also long-term consulting that I do with folks. And I very rarely, almost never work with bad organizations because the bad organizations never even ask the questions that you had the courage to ask today. So I think you should feel good about that. If the fact that you asked this question today of how do we get better at change is a good indication that you're already pretty good at change. Because the ones that don't get it never ask the question.